In 2019, more than 500,000 green cards or permanent resident visas were granted by the United States. But this year, that process is heavily backlogged, and that may cause our country and state to lose some of its best and brightest. ONR's Rory Taylor reports on a beloved Colombian violinist who is struggling right now to stay in Oklahoma City.
Angélica Pererira has lived in Oklahoma for 12 years. She's gone to college and grad school here, performed in concert halls, and taught students of her own. But now, she's struggling to stay.
I got here to Oklahoma City when I was 18 years old, back in 2008. I came as a student on a student visa because I was given a full tuition scholarship to study at Oklahoma City University. And since then, things like doors really opened for me. My second year of my undergrad degree, I got the chance or the opportunity to audition to the Oklahoma City Philharmonic.
And she was taken on by the orchestral group, at first as a substitute, all while still studying as a student in OCU's music program.
She's a delightful personality, kind to people. She was an exemplary student and just hard worker, very diligent. She was working in the Philharmonic while she was in school at the same time. So you add that on top of everything else. Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
Pereira is one of about 240,000 immigrants in Oklahoma today, comprising roughly 6% of the state's population. Of those, 24%, like her, have completed a college degree or higher education.
I did my master's, I did another undergrad in education because I started working at El Sistema Oklahoma teaching students. And I love it, absolutely love it. And then, well, you keep growing your life here. As time goes by, you are able to buy a house and, you have your dream jobs and you just kind of build your entire life. And all of a sudden, of course, you start changing your status.
After changing from a student visa to a work visa in 2018, the next step for Angélica was to pursue permanent residency. But her application was unexpectedly denied.
So this is the first preference employment-based immigration category, which is reserved for people that have extraordinary ability in the arts or other fields of human endeavor. What you have to show is that, well, to begin with, that there are at least 3 of the 10 specific criteria met that the USCIS has outlined.
Angélica's outstanding musicianship meant she could apply for this narrow field. But due to COVID-19, the whole system became backlogged. Angélica expected to hear back within 15 days, but after COVID closed immigration offices around the country, that wait turned into months. And while waiting, her current work visa expired, requiring her to try to leave the country, which was also made impossible by COVID travel restrictions.
It was just very silver lining, how COVID-19 was the thing that delayed my process so much to get me on this position. And then COVID-19 is also the thing that kept me in the country.
Pereira is now waiting on a new artist's visa, and her petition for permanent residence has been reopened by USCIS in response to efforts by Congresswoman Kendra Horn. But not every immigrant resident is as lucky. In fact, of America's roughly 10.5 million undocumented immigrants, more than 60% are in the country after overstaying a visa, rather than crossing a border illegally.
So it happens quite often. What you typically see, the rejections that you see in this category are most often when an alien, say somebody played for an orchestra or was associated with a major organization and acted in a leading capacity in that organization. They just decide by themselves to apply for this highly prestigious category.
Fortunately, Pereira isn't applying alone. She's sponsored by her orchestra, the Oklahoma City Philharmonic.
When really great people, really great musicians want to stay here, like Angélica, that's unusual simply because people just want to keep pursuing, higher levels for whatever reason. When we have great musicians that want to stay here, we want to keep them here, and we want to build on that. And so that's why it's so important that we keep her here.
Rory Taylor, The Oklahoma News Report.